You know we're living in a wild time when the cost of buying car parts is cheaper than actually getting to the store to get the car parts. So a buddy of mine asked me kind of out of the blue, not really out of the blue, it's all good. A buddy of mine asked me if he could borrow my van because his car, he got in a car accident recently. Don't worry, he's okay, but he got into a car accident recently and he ended up not being able to use his car for a while. And where we live is very isolated, it's middle of nowhere. So the closest garage, his car right now is like 3 hours away. So he's without a vehicle right now. He asked me if he could borrow mine. He didn't really ask me. I offered him if he wanted to see if he wanted to borrow my vehicle. And my van is a 93 camo Plymouth Voyager. It's a very old van. Me thinking, you know, her name is Helga, by the way. Helga the Beastly. She's a Viking goddess, I swear to God. She must have been a Viking goddess in a past life because this van just won't quit. No matter what I put her through, no matter what we do with the van, no matter how many adventures we go on, no matter what happens, she just won't quit, and I love her for it. So I figured, you know what, yeah, my van's in good condition, I trust this friend, so of course you can borrow my van. So he leaves my place with the van, I drop him, he drops me off back at home, and so he gets back to his place and he calls me and says, hey, the van's leaking. I'm like, well, that's weird. I mean, it's an old leaky engine. Maybe it's leaking a little bit of oil. And, he showed me the puddle. He showed me the trail. And we found that it was leaking gas. Like, it was leaking gasoline all over the place. And so we're like, what's going on? So I get under the van. We move it around to somewhere where it was going to be safe for a while. And sure enough, I found the leak. And the leak was going so quickly that it was literally like... it was a beat to a song. That's how fast the leak was. I jack it up a little bit. I get underneath the van. And I ask my buddy, hey, man, okay, turn the crank, like crank the engine. And sure enough, as he cranks the engine, gasoline starts spewing out of the side of this van, like along the line. And I guess what it turned out was one of like there's a filter along the fuel line that was cracked and was spewing fuel everywhere. And I'm just going to beat up my microphone. And what's right next to that filter? Now this might be a flaw in the design. I'm assuming it's a flaw in the design. But what's right next to the filter? The muffler is right next to the filter. So it's spewing gas onto this muffler that's about to start getting very, very hot. Now I don't think I need to tell you what happens when gasoline and heat mix, but needless to say, we caught this situation before it could have gotten much, much worse. So the next day, I call up the auto parts shop and I say, hey, auto parts shop, do you have this specific part? And they say, yeah, we've got one in stock for $40. I say, cool, sick. I'll be by later today. I get there. Turns out it's not $40. It's $10. Let me let that sink in for a second. The part that I needed to fix my vehicle was only $10. Outrageous. Outrageous. So I did some research on how to do it properly. And I fixed it today. I had to replace a couple of hoses too, which cost about $20, which cost about $8.50 to get the hoses and the clamps. But I fixed the van today. It's working. It's running. It's not leaking fuel anymore, but it was a heck of an ordeal. Almost to the point, so my buddies and I say that this van will never die. This van is like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Every single time something's wrong with it, I always manage to fix it. It always manages to get fixed one way or another. So we've decided, I think we should design, maybe I should design, or a proxy or alter card should be designed for this van. It would be Helga the Beastly. I don't know what its casting cost would be, but I know that it would be black, red, green. What colors are black, red, green? Helga, my van, Helga the Beastly, would be a Viking warrior goddess in Jund colors, which is black, white, green. No. Green, red, white. No, green, red, and black. Oh, black, red, and green would be her colors. So if you're out there and you're like, oh man, that sounds like a card I would want to design. Think of the most badass Viking goddess you can imagine that is still caring, loving, protecting, and defending. My buddy suggested she's a little bit like Corval, in that you have to sacrifice a treasure in order to make her attack. The treasure sacrificed is the extra parts that you're swapping to get her to attack. But I'm thinking more Protectorate. And with Undying, so like every time it hits the graveyard, it bounces back to your hand, or something like that. Because this van's as old as I am, and it would actually be a classic car. It's just amazing to me how, no matter what happens, it continues to grow, not grow, but like continues to not die. So I'm putting the call out to you. Send me your designs for Helga the Beastly as a Magic the Gathering commander, or as a legendary creature. You can send them to me on the Discord, which you'll find on the channel here. Send me what you think, because I would love to see what you come up with. Send me your art. And of course, I would love to promote your art, and or maybe we can work something out.